All right, so I think we're going to get started here. Welcome to New London baseball fans to Bulldog Baseball Live. I'd hoped we would be in the midst of a great season that included a trip to Florida to play teams from all around the country and be challenging for the top spot in the Bay Conference. Unfortunately, that wasn't to be. Tonight we'll take some time out to introduce our team and to celebrate our seniors. So we're going to start out with our freshman group. Here's we have 14 freshmen that had hoped to had planned to play this year. I had heard a lot of great things about this group, expected great things in the future from them. We'll definitely be ready to make some noise with these guys in the next couple years. The first group of freshmen here, in no particular order, Cooper Van Elzen. He's in talking to Coach Labinski, who's coached a lot of these kids. He sees Cooper as a pitcher and an infielder for us down the line here. Our second player is Seth Thayer. He checks in as a pitcher and first baseman. Our third player here is Easton Sievert, who's pretty good catcher and a pitcher. We have Ethan Hertzfeld, who's a pitcher and first baseman, and Austin Schmellenberg, who's an outfielder. So there's our first 5 freshmen. Moving on to the next group of freshmen here, we have Chandler Bryan, who's a second baseman and an outfielder, Spencer Hansky, who looks to be a middle infielder, Mason Gulbranson, an outfielder, Henry Christian, also an outfielder, and Mason Haas, an outfielder. So let's move on to our next group of freshmen. Next up would be Blake Inger. Blake looks like he'll be, an outfielder potentially as well. Riley Knutson as an outfielder. Brett Kraus, who's a first base / outfielder. And then Jake Martin, who's also a pitcher and outfielder. So again, there's our 14 freshmen that really didn't get any chance to look at these guys. So I'm hoping, for great things down the line from those guys. We're moving on to our sophomores. We have, this sophomore group's got a good talent as well, and the numbers are pretty good. We have 9 sophomores that had a really successful freshman campaign that included a 14-6 record. Several players in this group would have been pushing for time to play on the varsity. Our first set of sophomores are Keegan Rybrock, who plays some middle infield and also played some center field. Jackson Fields. Jackson, I see you're working on the beard there. I'm doing that a little bit too. My wife, I'm sure, is not too keen on it. You got the scruff going. But Jackson probably would have played some middle infield for us. I know he's done some catching in the past too. So, looking for good things out of him. Cole Penn, it's got the flowing locks going here. Boy, Cole, for... You've got that long hair. The girls are probably pretty jealous of you right about now. You don't have to worry about the haircut with what we got going on with the pandemic here. Cole probably would play some third base and outfield. Owen Batten, also another guy that really hit the ball well last year on the JV. He will probably would have played some third base and outfield as well. And then we have our 5th player on this grouping here is Jack Grable. Jack had some really good pitching outings last spring, as well as can play some first base. We're looking for big things out of him. Our next set of sophomores, we got Little Muskie, Mason Muskovich. He plays some second base and outfield. Riley Fisher, also a second base and an outfielder. Derek Helston would be playing some outfield, second base, and then J.J. Zielinski is new to the baseball program this year. And that does it for our sophomores. Our junior group. The junior group doesn't have huge numbers, but we've got some really talented kids in that group. Pitchers Gabe Wolt and Connor Brinkman returned for their 3rd year on varsity, and Andrew Parker cracked the starting lineup last year as a sophomore. Blake First was looking to gain some time on the varsity this year. And Gabe Trist was joining the baseball team this year for the first time. So that's our junior group. Next up, we have our seniors. Our seniors have had great careers. We had high hopes coming in the season, and with the majority of our pitching coming back and solid hitting returning, the Bulldogs really look primed to make a deep run into the playoffs. Our first senior up here is Spencer Fulks. He's our team manager. He's been, a great addition to our team. Coach, we asked the coaches and players to kind of think back to some memories of some of the kids over the last, 3-4 years. And Coach Wolt remembered the time a few years ago when Seymour wanted to know who the kid in the dugout was that didn't have a uniform on yelling during the game. They couldn't believe he was our manager. He was crazy, they thought. And my memories of Spencer are, he's great at getting the dugout chatter going. I don't know if I've been around somebody that's been better at doing it. Sometimes he's too good at this, though, and he forgets to do the stats program. And that, of course, is his primary duty as our manager, aside from leading our dugout chatter. Spencer wants to thank his parents, Thomasina and Dave Fulks, and say thanks for always supporting me in whatever I do. His favorite memory with Bulldog Baseball is throwing out the first pitch in a game. The Bulldogs were raising money for type 1 diabetes during his freshman year. And the picture there is actually from that game. So thank you for getting me that picture. Our next senior here is, hang on. I got to go back to Spencer. One more story. When asked about Spencer, Tucker remembered the time the Shawano coach wanted him kicked out because he was too loud in the dugout. That might have been going back to Coach Wolt. Who knows? Maybe he was, maybe it was Shawano, maybe it was Seymour. It might have been both. Spencer is attending UWGB this fall. All right, next up, we got our next senior is Cole Schweitzer. We're looking for big things out of Cole this year and expected to see him play some infield and DH. Coach Lubinsky said some of his most memorable times of Cole playing was when he'd crush a ball into the gap and then cruise into second base with a double with his blazing speed. Coach Shepard, remembered the tear Cole went on at the end of his freshman season. It seemed like every ball that he hit, was hit hard and for a base hit. Cole wants to thank his parents, Paul and Becky, for all the time, money, and support they have given me throughout my years of playing baseball. I've made a lot of good memories and friends because of baseball. That's something I'll never forget or lose. So it hasn't always been the easiest, but they helped me push through the struggles to make me a better player, but also a better person. Cole's favorite memory was beating West De Pere. Cole will be attending Fox Valley Technical College next year. Our third senior is Josh Hansen. Josh brings a Bulldog mentality to the mound and is a quick worker. Sometimes I'm not sure if the umpire is actually ready for the pitch either. He's about as quick as they come. While he doesn't overpower the hitters, he's been able to consistently get hitters out throughout his high school career. That's a sign of a good pitcher. Josh would like to thank his parents, Jeannie and Todd, for their support of him and always bringing seeds. Thinking back to baseball memory, a memory that involved his dad, he said, "I'm pitching and Cole's catching me for a 1-1 count. I paint a corner and go up 1-2 and my dad says, 'There it is.' And the batter turns around and yells something at my dad. The umpire doesn't do anything, but Cole gives me a nod and calls a curveball. I smile behind my glove and give him a nod. Whiff, strike 3, game over." His favorite memory was when we took the lead against Shawano in a tight game and he jumped in the dugout and woke up on the ground because he hit his head on the horizontal wood post in the dugout and blacked out for a few seconds. He said it was well worth it. Josh will be joining the U.S. Army as a combat medic after graduation. Next up is Ty Batten. Ty joined us last year after transferring from Kimberly. Coach Wolt loves that Ty sprints onto the field every time and then jumps over the foul line every game, not the foul pole, although Ty probably could jump over the foul pole. Kid's got mad hops. Coach Shepard remembered a great outing on the mound for Ty against Wapaka late in the season in a varsity doubleheader. Ty would like to thank his parents, Katie and Pat, for always trying to make me a better baseball player by telling me to never give up and keep working hard. Ty's favorite memory was throwing a complete game victory against West De Pere. I think the same one that Cole mentioned earlier. Ty will be attending Western Technical College and playing baseball for the Cavaliers next year. Our next senior is Chevin Oss. My favorite memory of Chevin, personally, was when Coach Porath and I were coaching JV together. Coach Porath mentioned me that Chevin had a no-hitter going. This was in the 5th or 6th inning of the game. Of course, the other team got a hit almost immediately. The next, talking about no-hitters is a huge no-no when it comes to baseball. So the next season, we had to send Porath back to softball. Coach Lubinsky said Chevin leads by example, is always positive, and loves the game of baseball. Chevin would like to thank his parents, Mark and Becky, and say thank you for all the sacrifices you guys made for me. From giving me rides to practice, buying me my first pair of cleats, to getting ice cream after Little League wins, I cannot thank you enough for supporting me throughout my life. I vividly remember my mom buying me my first baseball bat, my first year of kid pitch, and hitting a triple with it later that night. Memories like that wouldn't be in my head without my parents. Chevin's favorite memory was a collision at the plate sophomore year. He held onto the ball, keeping the lead in the game, which then ended up turning into a win. Chevin, when his teammates were asked about him, Briley remembered Chevin making a highlight page and updating it after every game he has to notify his followers of his amazing young talent. Chevin is going to attend Fox Valley Tech next year. Next up is Brooks Griffin. Brooks is a 4-year starter for the Bulldogs and was really coming into his own at the plate last year. I would have loved to see what he could have done for us at the plate with just one more season. We will definitely miss his glove. Brooks is able to play many defensive positions around the infield at an above-average level, puts forth a great effort, and is a great teammate. Brooks would like to thank his parents, Joe and Jamie, for their support of him during his high school career and always supporting him throughout his baseball career, as well as doing their best to come to every game. Brooks' favorite memory in the Bulldog uniform was when Logan Losey hit a walk-off triple to win a regional game in 2018. Good thing for Will Wolt that the game was at Hatton Park to give him enough real estate to score from first base. Brooks will attend Fox Valley Tech next year. Briley Johnson is our next senior. During his junior year, Briley hit some of the furthest balls I've seen hit that also got caught. That is the joy of playing at Hatton Park with a left center gap of 380 feet and 470 feet to center field. Coach Wolt says Briley brings a great positive attitude and is willing to help carry gear. He's not afraid to get dirty and plays hard all the time. Briley would like to thank his parents, Chad and Christy Johnson, for always giving me support throughout my baseball career at every single age and level of ball. You've given me the utmost support and done everything possible for me. Long trips to New York, driving me to practice 30 minutes away multiple times a week, supporting me at a distance, at any distance, any place. No matter where or what you have given me, so many great opportunities have allowed me to make memories that will last a lifetime. I'll always remember walking off the field in Boston to both of you after winning the championship game in Legion. That moment right there has been the highlight of my entire baseball career. Briley's favorite Bulldog baseball memory is playing at the Tim Rattler Stadium. When his teammates were asked about him, Chevin remembered the time Briley got a bad strike 3 call in a game against Green Bay East and proceeded to draw a line where the ball was and argue a little with the ump. I seem to remember that too. Briley received a warning and a chewing from Coach. The whole team got a laugh out of it, but Briley knew he wouldn't hear the end of it from me. Briley will be attending UW lacrosse in the fall. Oop. Our final senior is Tucker Cole. Coach Wolt remembered a game that Tucker was struggling throwing the ball to the pitcher last year. Tucker decided to go to the bullpen and play catch while we were batting during the game. I remember this too. Coach Wolt and I had a discussion about the catcher in Major League Two and how he overcame his throwing struggles. Once the throwing issues were fixed, we all had a good chuckle, but I'll be honest, at the time, it was a little nerve-wracking. Coach Wolt also mentioned that he thinks Tucker brings the kitchen sink in his baseball bags. Yes, he has more than one. Tucker would like to say to his parents, Chris and Missy, thanks for doing your best and to try and never miss a game during my career. Thanks for bringing me food during doubleheaders. Thanks for helping me train. Thanks for being my biggest fans and supporters. Tucker's favorite Bulldog memory was going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs at the Timber Rattler Stadium. When asked about him by his teammates, Ty said last year when Tucker smashed the ball off the top of the Hatton Park wall in left field, I've never seen a person hit the ball so hard, so far before. It was awesome. Tucker will attend UW Stevens Point and play baseball for the Pointers next year. This group of players and parents will be sorely missed. These guys are all champions in my eyes. I wish we could have shown the rest of Wisconsin how special this group could have been. Stay safe. When we were looking at each of the senior player profiles, there was across the top was a bat with their name on it. These are those bats. At some point, we're going to be able to get together and get those bats and do this in a more meaningful way. But for now, this is the best that we got. Until we see each other all again, I'd like to say everybody stay safe and enjoy time with your family.